Imagine you wake up one morning not to a calm sunrise, but in the midst of the storm of life. You face a heavy and heartbreaking challenge, caring for a loved one in the final days of their life. Your soul is torn between family obligations, work pressures, and long-neglected personal needs. This is not only a physical battle, but also a spiritual battle, a confrontation with the deepest human difficulties. In the moment, everything seems to fall apart, when every ray of hope seems to have disappeared. The darkness of challenge covers our souls, pushing our thoughts and emotions to the edge of impatience. When the darkness of life envelops you, let the life philosophies of Marcus Aurelius be a beacon that illuminates the dark path you are on. Today, let's learn about 10 Stoic rules for a better life. The lessons that Marcus Aurelius lived and demonstrated during his thorny life as emperor. These rules are not only profound teachings, they are also principles of life that help us overcome difficulties. Join us to discover how to apply the 10 rules from the book, his meditations, into daily life, so that each of us can become stronger in the face of life's storms and wise in every decision. Please commit to accompanying us on this journey, because each rule is to nurture your growth and cultivate your soul for a better life. Rule number 1. Another path is always open. Are you an art lover? Imagine you are an artist who has spent years building your career. One day, the project in which you have invested all your enthusiasm and resources suddenly encounters a serious failure. The key partner withdraws, funding freezes, and your project seems unviable. In that moment of despair, everything seems to fall apart, and you begin to doubt your abilities and self-worth. But dear friends, instead of surrendering to circumstances, remember the advice of Marcus Aurelius. There is always another path open. Yes, a road may be closed, a door may be closed, but there are still many roads and doors waiting for you to explore. Each of us is always reminded that each obstacle is not an end, but a sign to open space for creativity and finding new solutions. Marcus Aurelius, as an emperor and philosopher, was all too familiar with pressure and responsibility. He lived and acted based on the principle that there is no problem that has no solution. When someone hinders you, when someone stops you, when someone tries to control your life. But they cannot stop you in your perseverance and ability to look at life from many angles. So, when a door closes, instead of standing back and complaining, open your eyes, find and even create new paths for yourself. This not only helps us overcome difficulties, but also develops flexibility and adaptability, valuable qualities of a person pursuing Stoicism. The lesson here is not just about perseverance, but also about realizing that every challenge contains countless opportunities. By maintaining an optimistic mindset and looking for a way out, we not only overcome difficulties, but also find spiritual and intellectual wealth. By learning about this rule, I urge you to open other doors of your own, so that you never surrender to circumstances, but always seek, always aim toward the light of true understanding and freedom. Rule number 2. Be strict with yourself. Have you ever wondered why some people succeed and grow quickly in life, while others do not? The secret lies not in their innate talent or luck, but in their attitude and approach to life. That is the difference between those who choose to be strict with themselves and those who let themselves go in every situation. Surely all of us know Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX and Tesla. Elon Musk is a very strict person with himself. This is shown through his extremely strict work schedule. He regularly works 100 hours per week. He also adopted a very rigorous management style and involved himself in every aspect of the business, from engineering to product design. When we become strict with ourselves, we not only exercise our willpower, but also develop the acuity to recognize and eliminate negative habits. Marcus Aurelius, through his book Meditations, taught us that every day is an opportunity for us to become the best version of ourselves through practicing self-control and responsibility. This opens space for stillness, allowing us to access our deepest self and find happiness in the simplicity and true nature of life. Remember, being strict with yourself is not a quick race to the finish line, but a journey of patience and consistency. It is a step-by-step process of discovering and realizing your potential. At the same time, it is also the process of learning to accept and love yourself in all circumstances. Through the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, we are reminded that true freedom and happiness are not something that can be found outside of ourselves, but lies in our own choices about how to live and push ourselves every day. So, leave a comment. I am strict with myself to demonstrate a commitment to growth, understanding, and ultimately to freedom. Rule number 3, discard your anxiety. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have the opportunity to look back at life from a different perspective, a life in which we are relieved of overwhelming anxiety. No more rushing to catch the early morning train. No more getting stuck in traffic jams or worry about preparing for big plans. You might think that when we have less things to worry about, our minds will be more relaxed. But the reality is different. We realize that worry doesn't just come from daily work or small inconveniences. It is also hidden in our deepest thoughts, in our expectations and dreams. The pandemic has helped us see more clearly the nature of anxiety and how to face it from a new perspective. What matters is not how we express it. I don't like this, or I'm worried about that. Anxiety is really a shadow we create for ourselves, a product of a mind caught in a vortex of what could be and what was. When faced with anxiety, Marcus Aurelius reminded us to live in the present, not letting our minds get lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. So, when faced with anxiety, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then accept it as part of nature, a lesson to learn and grow. If so, act without hesitation and don't allow fear and anxiety to cloud your reasoning. In addition, he also advised us to live in every moment and enjoy every step on life's journey. We will then realize that much of what we fear never happens, and that real challenges are often much smaller than our fears. Remember, our mind is the most powerful tool in dealing with anxiety. When we learn to view the world through the lens of reason, peace, and happiness will follow. Letting go of worry is not just a rule for life. It is a gift we give ourselves. Rule number 4. Put people first. In the life of Marcus Aurelius, there are many stories that make me extremely admire. However, I was most impressed by one of his stories during the crisis of the Antonine Plague. When Rome was in trouble and pain, Marcus Aurelius showed his strong leadership spirit and compassion. Instead of isolating himself in luxury, he decided to sell valuable royal possessions, including jewels, robes, and jewelry, right on the lawn in front of the palace. This act is not only about giving up luxuries, but also a strong message of humility and willingness to share the burden with the people. Marcus Aurelius demonstrated that true leadership does not put itself first, but always prioritizes the needs of the people, even in the most difficult times. Marcus Aurelius ruled his empire not only with wisdom, but also with compassion. He taught that, in every action and in every decision, we are part of a larger community, which is humanity. But the question is, how do we do this? Practice empathy and understanding. Look at each person you meet as part of the larger family you are a part of. When you put the values of others before your own interests, you not only perform an act of kindness, but also create a deep connection with the world around you. In every relationship, remember that compassion and understanding are the keys to opening the door to peace and happiness. This is true not only in personal contexts, but also in professional relationships. When you treat co-workers, customers, or even strangers with care, not only will you build a positive working environment, but you will also contribute to building a better society. However, putting others first does not mean you forget your own value or forget your personal interests. It is important that you create a harmonious balance between caring for others and maintaining self-esteem and personal growth. This rule, according to Marcus Aurelius, is not only a moral act, but also an art of living, a way to find harmony and peace within oneself and in relationships with others. Because in the end, we don't just live for ourselves, but for everyone around us. Rule number 5. Take it step by step. Imagine you're in the process of starting to learn a new language, like Spanish, for example. You are exposed to this language through countless useful information, such as images and sounds. But the question is, what are the important steps for you to start this process? My advice is to start with one step at a time. Start by setting a clear goal, such as basic communication in 6 months. Every week, take time to learn new vocabulary and grammar. Use Spanish learning apps to practice every day, even if you only have time for a few minutes. As you learn, don't forget to enjoy the process. Try watching Spanish movies without subtitles, or join an online Spanish learning group. Every time you understand a new sentence or word, consider it a small joy in your journey. Evaluate your progress every month. You will probably make mistakes, but in mistakes lies the opportunity to learn. Stoicism teaches us that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Review what you've learned and set your next small goals. Taking things one step at a time isn't just about problem solving. It's also about nurturing our souls and learning to be satisfied with small progress. About finding joy in the process, not just the outcome. As Marcus Aurelius once said, don't await perfection, but be satisfied with even the smallest step forward, and regard the outcome as a small thing. This is a lesson in patience and perseverance, two important virtues in Stoicism. So in every step, reflect and re-evaluate your process. Ask yourself, how am I progressing? And what could be improved? This self-examination not only helps us keep moving forward, but also helps us develop holistically. Remember, we don't have to run fast. We just need to keep moving forward. So please like this video if you are ready to practice step by step at work and in life. Rule number 6. Don't resent people. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." Indeed, when we allow resentment to take over our minds, we are letting this negative emotion take control of our lives. Resentment clouds reason and blocks the light of clarity. It not only takes a mental toll, but also affects our physical health. For example, when you work in a stressful environment and always have to deal with uncooperative colleagues, if you harbor resentment, every working day will become a burden, and you will become increasingly exhausted physically and mentally. On the contrary, if you learn to forgive and accept, the work environment will become gentler, and you will find peace in your own work. But remember that forgiveness does not mean accepting another person's wrongdoing, but is the process of freeing yourself from the chains of resentment. It is a decision for inner peace, not for the person who hurt you. Forgiveness doesn't mean you forget. It means accepting the truth and moving forward. In history, we know great leaders like Nelson Mandela, who did extraordinary things. But what makes Nelson Mandela extraordinary? After 27 years of imprisonment in apartheid prison, he had almost no suspicion or hatred. He believes that reconciliation is a key factor in healing the wounds caused by long, painful years of racism. Stoicism not only teaches us how to live, but also how to let go. When we let go of resentment, we open space for peace and harmony. Remember, in every moment of resentment, you have a choice. Continue to nurture the seeds of resentment, or choose a path that brings peace to your soul. When you learn not to resent others, you not only free yourself, but also open the door to a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. That is a solid step on the path of wisdom and peace, according to Stoicism that Marcus Aurelius aimed for. Rule number 7. Well begun is half done. Marcus Aurelius has a better morning routine than yours. I think so, because in every step that led him out of bed in the early mornings, there was not only an awakening of the body, but also an awakening of the soul. Marcus Aurelius, as a king, he was not required to get up early. He could easily stay up late without immediate consequences. No one would question his tardiness, or his income would decrease. When dawn began, Marcus Aurelius was ready with a clear mind and a ready spirit. For him, waking up early is not just a habit, but a spiritual ritual, a way to practice willpower and discipline. In the peaceful moments of early morning, he listened to the voice of reason and prepared his soul to face life's challenges calmly and steadfastly. Wake up early and start your day by exploring the stillness of the morning, where you can relax, meditate, or practice self-observation. Additionally, you can practice journaling your thoughts, feelings, or goals for that day. This helps you create a mental plan for the day and focus on what's really important. With rule number 7, this is not just a principle, but also a philosophy of daily living. It is about realizing that each dawn not only marks the beginning of a new day, but also an opportunity to reaffirm and practice the values of Stoic philosophy on the journey of constantly striving to perfect ourselves. Close. If you are willing to wake up early like Marcus Aurelius did, leave a comment. I am willing to wake up early to let us know your determination. Rule number 8. Remember these mantras. The lessons from Marcus Aurelius have penetrated into the souls of each of us, becoming a never-ending source of inspiration. Through these lessons, we learn how to shape and nurture a meaningful and peaceful life. So, in Rule 8, let me review 3 important mantras that will lead you to a better, more fulfilling life. First, amor fati, love, and fate. Amor fati is a call not only to accept fate, but also to embrace it. For the Stoic, every event, whether joyful or painful, is welcomed as an integral part of life. Love and cherish every moment, because each event has its own value and contributes to your personal development journey. Second, what matters is not just what happens to you, but also what you do for others. In life, we cannot completely control every event that happens to us, but we always have the right to choose how to react. Take advantage of every opportunity to make a positive impact on those around you. Thereby, we create a chain of positive effects in the common community. Third, memento mori, remembering death. Memento mori is not a gloomy way of thinking, but a reminder of uncertainty and limitation in life. Remember that everything comes to an end. Therefore, we become humble and focus on living a meaningful life, not wasting time on unimportant things. As we begin our journey following the Stoic philosophy, applying these 3 mantras will not only help us face life's challenges, but also open up a new way of looking at the world around us. We learn to accept everything with gratitude, react to every situation with wisdom, and always remember that every moment we experience is precious. Rule number 9. Ask yourself, is this essential? We often get caught up in the whirlwind of busy work. You're busy, I'm busy. But stop for a moment. Marcus Aurelius advises us to ask ourselves, how much of what we do every day actually adds value? This is not only a simple question, but also a profound way of thinking, helping us identify and focus on what is really important. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that most of the things we do or say every day don't really matter. We are often drawn into jobs due to pressure from others or social norms. The question, is this essential, helps us identify tasks and decisions that need to be prioritized, thereby eliminating unnecessary distractions. When you let go of unimportant tasks, you not only reduce your burden, but also increase your ability to focus on things that bring high value. This not only improves work performance, but also brings satisfaction and happiness in personal life. Stoicism teaches us that time is man's most precious possession. Imagine, if you knew you would die tomorrow, will you continue to do unimportant things? This question encourages us to reassess our goals and priorities, thereby living each day meaningfully and fully. When we eliminate unimportant tasks, we not only free up time, but also find inner peace. This reflects the spirit of Stoicism, where spiritual freedom and peace are the ultimate goals. So always ask, is this essential? In every situation, from daily tasks to life-shaping decisions, even apply it to your every thought. In this way, you will gradually realize that the things you once considered important actually do not bring essential value as you thought. Rule number 10. Embrace change. In the universe of Stoic philosophy, change is not only an inevitable part of life, it is also the nature of existence. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that everything that happens either happens in such a way as you are formed by nature to bear it, or as you are not formed by nature to bear it. Everything in the universe is constantly changing, and that change is a sign of life. Instead of resisting or fearing change, we are called to accept and embrace it as part of our journey of personal growth and development. When faced with unexpected events, instead of seeing them as obstacles, consider them as opportunities to train yourself, to expand your horizons, and discover your inner strength. Change challenges us to break out of our comfort zones. It encourages us to practice patience, compassion, and insight. Practicing Stoicism is not simply about learning to endure change, but about learning to find meaning and value in each change. When we begin to see change as part of the laws of nature, we not only easily adapt to our surroundings, but also find inner peace and strength. Transforming every challenge, challenges become a stepping stone for personal development. Together, we have immersed ourselves in the 10 rules for a better life, according to the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. Each rule that Marcus Aurelius left us is not just advice, but also living guidelines that help us face challenges, enjoy joy, and cherish every moment of life. Remember, Stoic philosophy is not only for us to contemplate, but also for us to act. We learn that controlling our emotions, thinking positively, and living with purpose are the key elements to creating a happy and meaningful life. Applying these principles to our daily lives not only helps us become the best versions of ourselves, but also creates positive change in the communities around us. If you find value in the words shared today, please click like and share this video to spread these valuable lessons. Please leave your comments about the rule that impresses you the most, or comment, "I will live a better life," so we can see your determination when applying these principles in life. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to update the latest content from us. Together, we will continue our journey of self-discovery and growth.